Tonight, vaccine rollout as the FDA moves one step closer to approval, what distribution could look like in our area. And providing more resources, how one organization is bringing help to people going through a mental health crisis. Plus, hopping the border, Wisconsin bars are seeing a major influx of Minnesotans hitting the state's hotspots. What's driving the increase?
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Mack. Kristen is off tonight. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has confirmed safety and efficiency data for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. An FDA advisory committee will next consider the vaccine for emergency use authorization in the United States. The group released a new briefing document ahead of Thursday's meeting. It confirms that the vaccine is 95% effective against COVID-19. The proposed 2 doses are 21 days apart. It notes the most common adverse reactions are irritation at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle pain, joint pain, and fever. Officials say the vaccine is safe.
This vaccine actually was tested even because of the scrutiny with even higher standards in terms of how we do things.
The next step is emergency authorization by the FDA. Meanwhile, Minnesota leaders are explaining how that vaccine will get from production facilities to your arm. Governor Tim Walz estimates the first doses could arrive later this week. They'll be shipped to key hospitals around the state. From there, they'll be delivered to smaller clinics, although Governor Walz did not immediately say how. As far as who gets the vaccine and when, the state has created a priority system. Healthcare workers and long-term care residents are first, then essential workers like police and firefighters. After that, adults with high-risk medical conditions or those 65 and older. Governor Walz hopes the majority of Minnesotans will be vaccinated by next year. He adds this is not the time to forget about social distancing and wearing masks.
The vaccine's a fire hose, and it's a pretty darn big one. But even at that, the fire is so big, it's hard to put it out. Our job can be to shrink the fire by not getting it to spread, and the vaccine will help us put it out.
Walz says they've accounted for a lot of different scenarios, including blizzards, dry ice shortages, and more. He says it's important to remember that both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines require 2 doses, about 1 month apart. Tonight, we're also hearing from Northland leaders about how distribution will work in our region. CBS3's Ryan Campo joins us live from outside of St. Luke's. Ryan, you heard from Duluth's mayor today. What are her thoughts on the state's plans?
Tony, earlier today, Mayor Larson said that she is excited. All corners of the state will be covered and represented well when it comes to distributing this vaccine. Larson says Minnesotans should have confidence in this plan. She adds that this is the 3rd big tool Duluth will have when it comes to COVID-19 testing and prevention. The first being the testing site over at the deck, second, the COVID-19 exposure notification app, and finally, the vaccination that she expects will arrive here soon.
Knowing it's out there, knowing there is a plan, knowing there's a plan to get it to people geographically, knowing there are priority groups that are being paid attention to, knowing that there are issues of disparity that are being factored in, gives me confidence.
Larson adds that part of the plan will be to work with hospitals and UMD to provide cold storage for vaccines when that time is right. Now, coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from Grand Marais mayor on his thoughts about getting the vaccines into his rural area community.
Ryan Gumpo live for us tonight. Thanks, Ryan. Some developing news within the last hour. We learned the names of 2 St. Louis County deputies involved in a fatal shooting Saturday on the Iron Range. The BCA identified the deputies as Ryan Smith and Matt Tomsich. Smith has been with the department for 11 years, Tomsich for 12. The BCA says the 2 deputies fired their guns following a foot chase in Mountain Iron, killing 19-year-old Estevan Elioff of Virginia. County authorities said he ran from deputies who were investigating a shoplifting report. The BCA says deputies do not wear body cameras and dash cameras did not capture the incident. There were no other witnesses. Crime scene personnel say they recovered a knife from the scene. The BCA says both deputies declined to be interviewed by BCA agents. Today, attorneys for the deputies provided unsolicited written reports from the officers to the BCA. Both deputies are on standard administrative leave. And Dave's here for a quick look at the weather. Dave, it certainly didn't feel like it out there today, but a little bit warmer than average, huh?
Yeah, technically we were warmer than normal.
Okay.
But like you mentioned, a gray, gloomy sky, pardon me, It makes you cough a little bit and makes it feel just a little bit cooler. But to prove the point that it was warmer than normal, keep in mind the normal's 24. Today's highs, well, about 35 degrees for a lot of towns, even 39 by the lake in Grand Marais, and one of the cooler spots was Hayward at 34 degrees. Tomorrow, I think 40 is doable. One more warm day before things do start to settle down temperature-wise. The trough of lower pressure that brought clouds today should go away, be replaced by that high pressure cell off to the west for tomorrow. So tomorrow's forecast says we're going to be clear to partly cloudy for much of the day. High temp topping out around 40, but getting into Thursday, clouds filter in with our next low pressure system. And this low pressure system may finally bring snow. It's just a small chance for light stuff, but I'll tell you who's got the best shot at it coming up in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Hospitals in Dane County want you to know they expect to start getting the COVID vaccine soon, but you can't reserve one just yet. Amanda Quintana explains how the vaccine will be stored and administered in Wisconsin.
I think there's still a lot that's kind of being fleshed out and determined, but the general approach is understood and I think is going to be effective.
That approach includes bigger hospitals with freezers like UW's and SSM Health's, both ready to store vaccines.
When the vaccine gets out of the ultra cold storage freezer, the vaccine is good for 5 days in a refrigerator.
Exactly how DHS will then distribute those vaccines to smaller rural hospitals is still being worked out. It'll take multiple rounds of deliveries and months to get through healthcare workers, just 13,000 working for UW Health alone, then those in long-term care facilities and first responders before the general public can start being vaccinated.
So hopefully by the time we get to that point in the spring, the vaccine will be tried and tested and people will feel more comfortable with it.
A Pew Research study shows more Americans are feeling comfortable getting the vaccine. It's now at about 60%, up from around 50 back in September. But people still have a lot of questions. UW Health is hoping to answer them once the FDA approves a vaccine, which could happen on Thursday.
Without the FDA emergency use authorization, we don't have all of the information from the trials as well. And so we should hear more about that later this week, hopefully, and we'll be able to start getting more information out.
Both UW and SSM Health will then be focusing on education, making sure people understand how quickly this was rolled out doesn't affect its safety or effectiveness.
It's not by cutting corners. It's by taking some of the red tape and other things out.
Both health systems are still trying to iron out how they'll get that first round of vaccines out to their employees. Meanwhile, Superior bar and restaurant owners say they've seen a big influx in customers since Minnesota stopped in-person dining last month. The manager at Guadalajara Mexican restaurant says their weekdays have been just as busy as weekends recently. As of the last 2 weeks, he says 60 to 70% of the IDs they check at the bar have been from Minnesota. He also says his sales have increased.
Well, I would say we are definitely making much more. I would say our sales probably increase about, 50 to 60%. Of our regular income.
Other border cities like Hudson, Wisconsin have been experiencing similar influxes and are considering putting a curfew in place to stop Minnesotans from coming over as much. We asked Superior Mayor Jim Payne if that's something he'd consider tonight at 10. With a lack of options and resources, serving those with the mental health crisis can be a challenge in Douglas County. But one organization is hoping new grant funding will bring more help to the area. CBS 3's Emma Quinn spoke with mental health response team members to learn about their goals.
Douglas County's Mental Health Coordinated Community Response Team, a group of first responders, social workers, and mental health professionals are finding new ways to better serve the community's mental health needs, all with the help of new funding.
So we got a three-year grant to do some really innovative crisis response mental health support work in Douglas County.
The team will receive more than $400,000 over the next 3 years. The funding came from Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment Fund. The support work ranges from new crisis response models to community outreach.
To develop those new access points in the community, develop some new care methods, and then also to help develop a new response to mental health crisis when that should occur.
The support work ranges from new crisis response models to community outreach. Members of the response team say in most mental health crisis events, the only option is bringing someone to the emergency room, which isn't always what someone needs.
Which oftentimes doesn't turn into a hospital stay. It turns into a discharge, and then somebody comes back to their own community, and it just doesn't make sense. A lot of resources are used and help isn't provided.
Officers with the Superior Police Department say the response team's work will give them more options and resources when responding to calls.
We need to work toward modernizing our response to mental health crisis, and by having different levels of care available to us to take people when they're in different levels of crisis is absolutely necessary for us in law enforcement.
Response team members say there can be barriers for residents to get mental health services in Duluth. They hope to bring those resources across the bridge.
So somebody in Douglas County that needs help can stay in Douglas County and get the support that they need.
The team received this funding about a year ago. Work began, but was put on hold due to COVID-19. The team was first assembled in 2013 after community input and focus groups felt more resources were needed. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, Trump supporters took to the Michigan Capitol today asking the state to investigate the 2020 election.
This live look at Two Harbors shows things are pretty dry there, just like elsewhere. But once we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we have at least a slight chance for snow, the first we've seen in a while, really. I'll talk about the odds of payoff coming up after our break.
For coverage that matters most to you, tune to CBS 3.
Hey, no cell phones at the table. But it's Grandma. Hi, Mom.
Slumberland's biggest Thanksgiving sale in 3 years is held over. You'll get an additional 25% off our already low prices at Slumberland.
I will always be ready
for every storm
and disaster that threatens my community.
I will always be there to protect my neighbors
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
It's the season for streaming and the perfect time to power up all your devices with Extreme Internet. Call today and save with prices as low as $19.99 a month for 1 year. Go dashing through your shows with amazing speeds from 60 meg up to 1 gig. Powerful in-home Wi-Fi and 99.99% network reliability. Enjoy the gift of high-speed entertainment for as low as $19.99 a month for 1 year. Dial 844-EXTREME2. Hurry, offer ends December 21st.
We can help you at Ketamine North Infusion Center.
I was stuck in a gray area. The first treatment, I actually laughed and scared myself because I hadn't heard myself laugh in years.
Visit us online. Be well with us at Ketamine North Infusion.
I need your help fighting COVID-19.
You can help. Please stay home.
My team needs your help. We know you miss your friends and family. We do too.
Love others by protecting them. Stay home.
We need to have room to care for you if you get sick.
We need your help. You can help. The time is now to mask up, wash your hands, and stay home.
Black Bear Casino Resort is excited to bring you Frosty Free Play. Join us every Saturday in December from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Players Club members have the chance to win $10 in free play after earning 30 points. After earning 30 points, players swipe their Players Club card at any kiosk and win $10 in free play. Plus, you can win up to 4 times a day. That's a maximum of 4 swipes a day and a total of $40 in free play won. We can't wait to see you at the Bear every Saturday in December for Frosty Free Play. Make the Bear your place.
With all this family fun time, you need a good night's sleep. Come to Slumberland's huge Thanksgiving mattress sale and get an extra 25% off our already low prices. Get this Sealy Posturepedic Queen mattress for just $3.99, only at Slumberland.
It is the question that matters the most. ¿Dónde está? That takes you behind the story. Robert. It drives everything we do. It is the foundation of trust.
Who did all of this?
And the truth that propels us forward.
What did you make of that?
It is the question. 1 word, 3 letters long. And without it, our purpose,
that's news,
and our freedom fade. This is why.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS 3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3. CBS 3 Weather is brought to you by St. Luke's. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Today in weather history, we hit our record high 45 in 1990. The record low of 23 below is a real oldie from 1876. Tomorrow, we're going to be much closer to the record high than the record low. There's a chance some towns could approach 45 degrees, if not 40, and if only for a day. It will start to cool once we get past midweek, and by the weekend, it could be cool enough for snow. There's a low coming that could provide a little snow. But right now, it looks like there's a very good chance it's going to dodge us for the most part, but not the all part. I'll talk about how much we could get coming up here in just a minute or so after we take a look at the stats for today, or at least the current conditions. 32 degrees, that's what we have at the airport. 79% is the relative humidity. Westerly wind going 10 miles per hour, making it feel a little bit cooler than it really is. And 29.78 inches of mercury is our air pressure, holding steady on the lower side now after so many days of being on the high side. But high pressure will come around tomorrow and chase away the clouds and bring back some sun. Temperatures right now in the Upper Peninsula are at 31 degrees for Watersmeet and towards Ironwood and Bessemer, 34. Also 34 across the river there in Hurley, Wisconsin. Then we're looking at 32 Hayward, mid-30s for Ashland and LaPointe, 32 from Solon Springs to 33 in Superior, and into east central Minnesota, our numbers are going 32 to 34. North Shore numbers are in the mid-30s for the most part, but again, not the all part. Vermilion, Mesabi range temperatures, low to mid-30s and mid-30s towards border country. Overnight lows tonight likely will stay in the 20s. The cloud cover here will be going away, but it will be around long enough for another mild overnight, which isn't such a bad deal when the fuel bill comes for the furnace. Clouds in the area, they're associated with a trough of lower pressure that's bringing a little bit of light precip here and there, but as usual, like it's been for the past week or so, not seeing really anything come out precip-wise. Tomorrow, this low goes, stays mild, approaching high makes it sunny and dry, but now a new low-pressure system coming our way for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday could bring some flurries and light snow to the Iron Range communities and border country on Thursday, and then the rest of us get a chance come Friday and Saturday. But with the trajectory of this low going to the southeast, you know, it's only a 20% chance the rest of us are going to see this precip. So again, Rangers may get a little bit of snow to stick, and the rest of us, if we're snow fans, we keep our fingers crossed. Low temps tonight in Minnesota, 23 to 30. Low temps in Wisconsin and Michigan, 24 to 29, and we all get a mostly cloudy sky, which gives way to a partly cloudy sky in Wisconsin and Michigan for tomorrow. High temps warmer than normal by at least 15 degrees. That means a range of 40 to 45. And it's about 37 to 43 for Minnesota tomorrow. Eyeing up the extended forecast, temperatures do start to slide, though. And there we go. Thursday, Rangers get a chance for light snow. Friday, Saturday, the rest of us could get a little taste of it. And then it cools down and dries up by Sunday. High temp 24, low temp of 15 is finally back to normal.
All right, thanks, Dave. Supporters of President Donald Trump took to the Michigan state capitol today. Protesters were calling for a recount of the ballots cast in this year's election. They hope it would overturn the results, which show Joe Biden as the winner. One Michigander is calling for a good investigation.
I think it's important that that there's a good investigation of what happened. If we have foreign countries that are controlling our elections, that's a bad thing. And if it's proven, then we'll have to take an alternative route, because we can't have unfair and illegal elections taking place. It's really important.
Protesters with the group March for Trump made a stop on its cross-country bus tour, calling for lawmakers to, quote, stop the steal. The Nutcracker Ballet is a long-standing Christmas tradition, and this year you can experience the Minnesota Ballet's performance from your own home right here on CBS3. The Nutcracker cannot take place as a live performance due to COVID restrictions. Instead, the Minnesota Ballet and CBS3 are teaming up for a special televised version. The ballet will be pre-recorded at the Depot and at Glensheen. The company is excited to deliver some holiday magic right to your living room.
I think that this is going to be a new journey. I think that that's the exciting thing about doing a new version of the Nutcracker, is allowing our imaginations to shift from what we used to know to something new. And where does that then take their imagination?
You can watch the performance on Monday, December 21st from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on CBS3. We'll hear more from the dancers about how they're putting a new twist on the Nutcracker storyline. That's tonight on the CBS3 News at 10. Still ahead in sports, UMD men's hockey back in action from the Omaha bubble. Kelly has a preview coming up next.
Fond du Duluth Casino is having a sock drive now through December 15th.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community, continue watching CBS3. CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
For your holiday gatherings, turn to Super One Foods. Holiday cookies make for some of life's sweetest moments. At Super One, you'll find all the ingredients you need, plus trays of holiday cookies from our bakery experts. Happy holidays from everyone at Super One Foods.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. From value-priced softeners to the world's best and even salt-free. No one has more solutions than Culligan to customize the best filtration for your home. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
Visit Bender's Shoes and step into style with new arrivals from Rieker and Ramonte. Enjoy modern European styling in footwear designed with features that ensure comfort with every step. Come in today and give them a try. We're located in Grand Rapids, Hibbing, and Duluth.
My husband's parents were visiting, and I promised them a home-cooked meal, except my boss had a different idea. He tells me, hold your horses. I call my husband and I say, I'm slammed, and he's like, Quick Trip, and I'm like, bingo. At Quick Trip, I say, what's good tonight? And the Quick Trip guy is like, everything, but I go for the hand-breaded fried chicken, and I go, make that ×4. Being none the wiser, my mother-in-law is like, I always said she's a keeper. I'll run with that.
Quick Trip, we got you covered.
Keeping yourself and your family safe from germs and bacteria is made easy with Cetus ultraviolet technology for sterilization. Through time-tested ultraviolet irradiation, killing 99% of dangerous microbes is simple and effortless. UV light technology is faster and more reliable than water-based disinfectants. Now easier than ever to live germ-free. Visit www.cetusonline.com. That is CETUSonline.com.
In 2016, Mike missed out on a tax credit because he didn't get his health insurance through MNsure. He was sure he made too much money to qualify. He did it again the following year. And again. And again. And you get the picture. Every year, thousands of Minnesotans miss an exclusive tax credit through MNsure that averages over $5,100 a year. This year, be sure you're not one of them.
Maybe I should go through MNsure this year.
That is exactly right, Mike.
It is the question that matters the most.
¿Dónde está?
That takes you behind the story. Robert, it drives everything we do. It is the foundation of trust.
Who did all of this?
And the truth that propels us forward.
What did you make of that?
It is the question. One word, 3 letters long. And without it, our purpose,
that's news,
and our freedom fade. This is why.
At Super One Foods, we're always looking for new talent to join our 5-star service team. Visit superonefoods.com and click on careers to view the opportunities available right in your neighborhood. Come join our team.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3. Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
Well, it's hard not to get excited about the start that the UMD men's hockey team has put together. So far, 3 games, 3 wins, and a fresh goaltender that has looked solid early. Ryan Fanti even earned NCHC Goaltender of the Week honors for his performance in those 3 wins, posting a .92 save percentage and a 2.33 goals against average. That said, Scott Sandelin speculated before the season even started that we could see multiple goalies play throughout the games in the pod, and that's going to come true tonight.
I think the first 3 or 4 days was a little bit of a whirlwind. Traveling here, testing, quarantining, practice. Now we had two quick games, but it was kind of nice to get a few days to kind of get probably a little more organized and decompress. But no, they've done an outstanding job here. I can't say enough about the job that all the people did to make this happen.
And Zach Stayskal will get the nod between the pipes tonight. A freshman from Cohasset. They're back in action from Omaha against Miami of Ohio, who UMD beat on Sunday 5-3, and then a huge matchup on Thursday night against top-ranked North Dakota. Both of those games this week will be on the My9 Sports Network. Prior to this Thursday's game against North Dakota, you are not going to want to miss Dog Dynasty, bubble hockey. We're recapping all of the action so far from the first ever college hockey bubble, hearing from players, coaches, and staff on this unprecedented and unique start to the college hockey season. That is Thursday, December 10th, before puck drop in Omaha at 7 p.m. on My 9 Sports. You can also catch a replay right here on CBS3 on Sunday at noon. Speaking of Sunday at noon, it's hard to believe, but the NFL season is flying by, and there are just 4 weeks left in the regular season, which means it's time to fire up the online playoff predictors. You know, Tony's been in the newsroom making his predictions. You'd think he was a predictor himself. At least that's what I like to do, and we like to do down in the newsroom. We'll start with the Packers, who are all alone on top of the NFC North at 9-3. They're 3 games up on the Vikings. Their path to the playoffs is simple. They can clinch the division with 2 more wins, or a win this week plus a Vikings loss. They're currently a game back of the Saints for the 1 seed, a team they beat earlier this season. But if you ask head coach Matt LaFleur, it's all about the team in front of them this week, which is the Detroit Lions.
You got to give Detroit a ton of credit. They were pretty much written off in that game, and they battled for 4 quarters and were able to get the victory at the end. So we very much know what's in front of us. We got a team it's got a lot to prove. We're going to have a great week of prep, and that needs to carry over to Sunday.
And Green Bay takes on Detroit this Sunday at 3:25 p.m. As for the Vikings, a much different situation. After a 1-5 start, they flipped the script and rallied back to the 500 mark at 6-6. And as of this week, they've clawed their way into the last NFC wildcard spot, with a tiebreaker over the Cardinals, who are also 6-6. There is a logjam of 6 teams all within a game of each other for that last wildcard spot, including the Bears, and believe it or not, the Lions as well. But if they just keep winning, Minnesota is in. Up next, they'll visit Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Bucs. That'll be Sunday at noon. That's going to do it for sports for now. We'll have more here back tonight at 10, including highlights from the UMD Omaha game. Tony, I'll send it back to you.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Kelly. Well, SpaceX is getting millions of dollars in federal funding to deliver broadband internet to rural America. The government is giving them nearly $900 million to do it. It's part of a new subsidy program to get companies to extend broadband access across the country over the next 10 years. The focus is on rural America, where 3 out of 5 people say access to broadband is a big problem. All right, Dave, let's get a last peek at the weather. Is that chill in the air going to keep lingering?
I don't think so, really.
Okay.
With cloud cover out there, overnight low temps will be warmer than normal, and tomorrow's high will be warmer than normal by about 15 degrees.
Okay.
We'll be in the 40s for a lot of towns. Here's our 7-day forecast. Wednesday may be the last day that's like that, though, because we'll cloud up and cool down by Thursday. Thursday's clouds could yield a little bit of light snow for Iron Range communities, and then for Friday and Saturday, a tiny 20% chance the rest of us will get a little bit of that action. And the way it's been so dry lately, that's the best chance we have for a while, because it dries up and cools down farther, perhaps as early as Sunday, and sticking around through at least Monday.
All right, thanks, Dave. That's your news at 6. We'll see you again at 10 o'clock. Thanks for joining us.